but she's drilling tacks. I'm in the little black dot at 20 yards, so I think it's safe to say I'm back up to 30.
All right, guys, we are out here. We got about 10 days left until the first hunt of the year, and we're just out here shooting our bows, getting everything fine-tuned, getting some sight tapes on, and so yeah, we're getting ready, man, getting pumped up and fired up. We got some pretty good deer on camera. We got several hunts lined up that we'll kind of get into later in the video, but we'll just kind of go through our bow setup. So Pitts is here, Rigsby's here, we're all shooting, but so the setup that I'm going to run this year is the Hoyt. This is the RX8 full Realtree edge camo. I'm running, probably going to run 2 different arrows. So this is the Victory, this is the Rip TKO. This arrow comes in at about 463 grains. And so what I did on this arrow is I'm running actually the iron wheel hit insert. So it's a 100 grain insert, and this is the Easton collar, and it's like 19 grain. So once I balanced this arrow out and found the FOC, this is actually what I would maybe consider on the more extreme FOC. So this is a 20% FOC, and so but it's high FOC, but it's not a super heavy arrow. It's kind of middle of the road weight arrow. And so I'm going to tinker with a couple different things. So my other arrow option would be what Rigsby's shooting, and that's the 4mm Easton Axis with the match grade half outs. And I'm going to try to run a couple different size inserts on there. So it's a little bit heavier arrow that'll be less FOC, but I'm going to try to make them the same weight and see kind of, I don't know, see what that FOC does if I get any kind of drop at long range. But that's pretty much my arrow setup that I'm going to run. So this is an 80-pound bow. I got a 27-inch draw length. This arrow is shooting right at about 285 on speed. I don't have a lighted knock on there. And I am running a Ultra View slider. I actually just mounted this on yesterday. I'm just kind of tinkering with it. I think it's going to be a really solid sight. Got the 2.0 Go Sticks. So it's been a good shooter. I've been getting everything kind of seated, getting my strings settled in, and shooting good. So broadhead wise, I think I'm going to probably run on the first hunt in Nebraska. I think I'm going to try to run the QAD Exodus fixed head. I don't know. I'm going to try to shoot a deer with a different broadhead this year and just test a bunch of different stuff. But I don't know. It's going to be between that. I've shot a Slick Trick 4-blade fixed head with really good results. I got a pack of the Grim Reaper Micro Hades 3 blades, and then just the old standby that's been really good for me is the G5 Dead Meat. So I don't like to stick with one thing. I like to kind of mix it up. I'm going to run an Ultra View. This is the Ultra View button. This is the medium version. And so I'm testing it out, but I got a couple different releases that work really good too. So I don't know, I just love tinkering and love trying different stuff and seeing what works best.
Everything's pretty similar to Brian's appearance wise. There goes that 4mm. RX8 full edge camo, Go Sticks on the front stabilizer, back stabilizer. I went with the Spot Hog. It's the 2-pin stack. I'm a 1-pin guy, so I really don't even use the second, just dialing everything in with the first. 70-pound bow. Trying to think, yeah, arrows we're going 4mm. These are the 300 spine, and I think we went with the 55 grain, wasn't it?
Yeah, 55.
So I think it was weighted in at 450 with a lighted knock. So kind of one of those middle of the roads. It was, I think, 285 speed, something like that. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm going with the Ultra View thumb button as well. I don't know about broadheads yet. Probably, I've always been an expandable guy. I like to give myself the largest range of error. Because, you know, screwing on the broadhead, I've heard it before and it really stuck with me. You don't screw on the broadhead for the perfect shot. So I like having, you know, as much room for error as possible if you're a little right, left, wherever you are of aiming. So yeah, probably going to shoot the dead meats this year. a little easier to steer, I think, with this arrow and all. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Just putting some airs through it now, and like I said, I think we got a week and a half before Nebraska, so looking forward to it.
And now it's my turn. I'm shooting the Hoyt RX-8 Ultra. They're both shooting the regular one. This is the Ultra. It's a little bit longer axle. Being I have somewhat of a little tournament background, I like a little bit more axle to axle. It's a little bit more forgiving. Points and holds a little bit better to me. So I'll run the longer axle to axle. It is a little slower than your shorter models. About 10 feet a second, I would say. But running a QAD Ultra Rest, it's micro adjust. That's been one of the best rests as long as I can remember. Running a Spot Hog Fast Eddy sight, just a simple Fast Eddy double pin. Running Hoyt stabilizers on here. I've got a first string bowstring put on here. This is actually the exit wire. And of course, I run my little kisser button on there. A lot of people say it's a beginner's tool, but I'm a firm believer in the more consistent anchor points you got, the better shooter you're going to be. So I always go corner of my mouth, tip of my nose, get my sight picture. And it works out good with a kisser button, because when you get in some awkward angles in the tree stand, it keeps you consistent, to where lots of times if you don't have that kisser button, it can pull you off up or down, and that's going to affect the point of impact. So, you know, that's the basics of what I've got going on here as far as the bow. I shoot an 8-inch sidebar, which I've just been shooting a sidebar for the past couple of years, and really like it. It helps counter some of the weight that's off to the right side, but a lot of people are going integrated now, so you don't need it as much, but it does help align that bubble a little bit better for you. And as far as arrows go, I've been shooting this same arrow setup for about the past 5 years. It's an Easton Axis 5mm. Run Flex Fletch, just the regular 03-inch parabolic vane. Running the Halo Nox right here, Halo lighted Nox. And then I've got Ethics components on the front, insert and outsert, field tip as well. And it all adds up to about insert, it's right at about 70 grains, because I filed the insert down a little bit, shave a little weight to get to where I wanted. Total arrow weights right around 470 grains, which is where I like to be. I've kind of got T-Rex arms, so I lose a lot of feet per second. You lose 10 feet a second per inch of draw. So off of IBO, I'm losing 20 feet per second before I even get started. So I kind of have to keep the weight of my arrow about in that spec. I like to be right at 270 to 300, I think, is the perfect hunting speed. And right now I'm on the lower end of that spectrum at 270. So that's why I shaved that insert down a little bit to get all the weight where I wanted it to. But it's a total of right at about 470 grains in this. It's been a really, really good system I've shot for about the past 5 years, and it's just a great arrow. But that's pretty much a rundown of what I'm shooting this year.
Yeah, so this video not necessarily being the official start of the fall, but it kind of is. We've been putting out several videos all summer long from, you know, previous hunts and archery content, but for those of you, maybe the regular subscribers kind of know who me and Pitts are, but if you don't, so I have been working at Realtree for 6 years, and I guess I'm kind of like the official producer of road trips. But yeah, I started, you know, my early days kind of running with Tyler, videoing him, and so now we're kind of doing this road trips thing. But so that's kind of, you know, how I'm involved. And so for those that, most of you probably do know Pitts, but he is the head chief fireman over at West Point Fire Department. The mayor. He's the mayor of West Point, Georgia. Anytime he goes on a hunt, West Point's just in shambles because the community can't stay together. But Rigsby, your background is in how'd you kind of get in the industry? So you're a quail hunting guide.
Yeah, whenever it's not deer season, not turkey season, I'm guiding quail hunts. I started with Realtree. This would have been 4 years ago. Started filming. My dad, anyways, mutual friends, kind of got linked up with all those guys. Started filming 4 years ago. Got to go with a lot of great guys. Obviously, Realtree, David, Tyler. Got to go with Brian, Pitts a lot. Learned a lot from a lot of those guys. Guys like Small Town Hunting too. Filmed with them a good bit. So yeah, been in it for a while. When it's not deer season, like I said, I'm guiding quail hunts, and then after that, springtime. That's my time of the year. So turkey hunting. Other than that, but yeah, really enjoyed it so far. Get to learn a lot from a lot of smart guys, obviously, that's been in the outdoors for a long time, and kind of just dipping my toes in the water right now. But it's really good just to spend time with these guys like Pitts and all, and Brian, Tyler.
That's nice of you, man.
Yeah,
that's real nice.
Yeah, Brian hasn't really taught me a lot. Pitts has. Honestly, I don't listen to Brian at all. But yeah, look forward to this fall. If nothing else, we're gonna have fun and try to shoot a few deer along the way.
So what we got coming down the pipe is we're shooting in Georgia today, but the first season that we got open, if you've been watching videos in the past, the first hunt that we do every year is the first week of September in Nebraska. So we got Spartan cameras running out there. We got a few decent deer running around. That's going to be the first hunt. And then after that, we're going to jump to Georgia where Pitts is going to be holding it down. He's got some giants on camera. So those are the first two hunts. And then Tyler is going to the Yukon to go on a moose hunt. So exciting hunts coming down the pipe. Real quick, give me your number one deer tip.
Well, my number one deer tip, I always say this anytime I'm asked, is the wind. You got to play the wind. Big buck gets downwind of you, he's going to smell you. So make sure the wind is in your favor when you get in a tree, especially if you got a bow in hand. Rifle, you can back up 400 yards, not quite as big of an issue, but bow hunting, when you're in their living room, you better watch that wind.
Give me the number one deer tip that you wished you would have known sooner.
I'd probably say something I did know sooner, but it's something everybody's heard, but you don't remind yourself of. When I was little hunting with my dad, it's always take your time, and that's the thing I've really had to tell myself, especially when you're hunting and everything happens so quick, and you don't execute how you wanted to, and when you're out here practicing, it's a lot easier, to tell yourself to hold, pull through, and execute a good shot. And I would say just slowing yourself down a lot of the times. You get in your own way while you're hunting. So, going through that process of reminding yourself, all right, take your time, hold, execute a good shot. So something simple, but something I think probably helps a lot. And a lot of times you make a bad shot and you think afterwards, man, I should have took my time. I rushed that. So, yeah, I'd probably just say that, taking your time on something.
Give me your number one deer tip, James.
Number one deer tip, take your time getting to your stand. Be easy, be quiet, walk into the stand. Try not to make as much noise getting in. Get settled as fast and efficiently as possible. Get down, get quiet, stay still. Play on your phone if you need to.
I would say the number one deer tip that I think I've learned over the years is don't go hunting just to hunt. Have a plan when you go to the woods. Obviously, it's easy for some of us to say because, we're not limited to just maybe one day a week or the weekends. We get to hunt a little bit during the week too, but I would say use all the resources that you have available. Use your cell cameras. Pay attention to the deer movement, the times that the deer are moving, and try to make a game plan. Don't go hunting just to hunt and hope for the best. Actually have a good game plan when you go out there, and I think you could probably, if you hunt smart, I think you can hunt about a quarter of the time. I think you can hunt about 25% of the time and be just as successful as somebody who hunts all the time. So use your cameras, use your cell cams, use your Spartans, use Scent Thief in your favor, spray down every hour, and have a game plan. So we'll catch you guys in the next video. Maybe it might be deer season by then. We don't know.
Go Tina.
Go Jay.
I like to twerk in the tree stand.
Play us a little
Pitts, there
string
he
music,
is.
take us out, Pitts.
That's right.
Pitts,
This is-
what's all that motion?
This is what I have to deal with.
Play a little string music, take